Hi, I'm Eric. I found my phone and welcome to another video. Today we are getting into Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. Now, I have not actually gone out of my way to listen to Amy Winehouse that often. I have heard some singles, many of which are from this project because unfortunately she really only had 2 albums before she tragically passed away. It's not great to get to hear an artist that you know has passed away, but it is something important to do every so often to recognize the amazing life that they had. Thank you for requesting this video, and anyway, let's get into it. Track number 1, Rehab, a song I have heard before, but I am intrigued to see how it fits as the opener of the album. No, no, no time, and if my daddy says I'm fine. I have a bottle handy. Oh, that's how it ends. So that was Rehab, and you know that song. I know that song. It's interesting to turn an analytical ear to it, and it's just such an ironic song and a really haunting and sad, tragic way. It's odd when one of your biggest hits is about you saying you're not going to rehab, and you not going to rehab is probably one of the reasons why you're no longer with us, and that's really sad. I mean, it is just tragic. Yes, it's catchy, but I first heard the song after she had passed away. I didn't know who Amy Winehouse was when she passed away because I was young at the time. 2006 when this album came out. Yeah, I turned 7 that year. So Amy Winehouse wasn't in my register of information, especially being an American. I was definitely focused on more American artists. She wasn't playing on Radio Disney. I wasn't listening to it. So my first experience with the song being after she passed away for those reasons, and was one of the first artists that made me even consider the idea of substance abuse in the first place. I'm going to put a hotline if anyone you know or you need help, please seek that out because you or they deserve all the help that they can get. But because I knew Amy Winehouse's story before her music, I think I couldn't separate this song in particular from that. So yeah, it's hard for me to listen to. It is a catchy song and it is groovy, but I don't know if I'm just going to be turning it on. It feels wrong in some ways, and it feels off if I just randomly hear it out and about. I think it was on a playlist I was hearing in a store recently. I'm like, that's a really odd image to bring into the picture. Track number 2 is You Know I'm No Good. I do love her voice. It is so ethereal. Oh, I like these hits. I forgot to say hit hard. I feel like I have heard that part. No, that I'm no good. Okay, interesting image. I knew I would cheat myself. Ooh. That was You Know I'm No Good, and that's an interesting song. I just looked up the lyrics, and I probably will be just so I'm getting some of these messages right because I don't want to get it wrong. She also has a very distinct way of singing that is kind of at times hard to understand. She is British. British accents can sometimes be hard to understand in songs. I feel the same with Adele sometimes. But You Know I'm No Good is about her cheating on her lover with other men, and she is saying, you know that I'm not good, you know I'm in trouble, and you still take me back anyway. And it's not happy in any way because she's also feeling like who's at fault actually, because I'm cheating myself by cheating on you, because I am doing this as a coping mechanism for maybe my relationship or substance or whatever, and I'm doing that and you're not even that interested, you're not upset with me. And maybe that's just someone being understanding, or maybe someone who's into polyamory or totally okay with an open relationship. But it also could just be the sense of, oh, you actually aren't possessive, you don't care, you're not protective over me, you're not all these things that she wants him to be. The song was definitely moodier. It definitely had a good groove and still very haunting. I think she sings mainly in minor keys, and that makes it very interesting. It's painting a really interesting picture in my head. I'm intrigued to see whether we're going in different levels of just unhealthy behavior, or if there's going to be an overall narrative here. So far, She's not doing well. Track number 3 is Me and Mr. Jones. I have this song saved. I have heard this song before, and I think I enjoyed it. I don't remember much about it, except for I do know it has the line, "What kind of is this?" Absolutely a big fan of that line. It was on TikTok when I was on there. And yeah, so let's hear that line again, also within the context of the song and the song in the context of the album. Ooh, I love this introduction. Find out, read this. Period. Can't keep lying to yourself. Ooh, both people are at fault. Nobody stands in between me and my man. Ooh, that's it. Ooh, background vocals. Reminds me of Adele's 30. I still wonder about the things you do. Oh, are they on or off? Oh, done so soon. So that was Me and Mr. Jones. That was apparently about her relationship with Nas. I have heard the name Nas. I don't know much of his work. I'm not very well informed on the hip hop community, so I'm not going to talk about it. But this song is about their relationship in some way, and it's a bit of a mess. It's kind of a bit of... and apparently that was originally the title of the song. Amy Winehouse was like, "Can I call it that?" And her producer was like, "No." And she's like, "Well, why not?" So I love her spirit on it. And it is a lovely line. I didn't realize that everyone else loves that line as much as I do. But that is the highlight of the song. The song is good. It just is a nice groovy song. And whether you understand the relationship or not, you can't admit that it doesn't jam. Track number 4 is Just Friends. Ooh, I like this live instrumentation. When we get the time to be just friends. Ooh. It's not safe, not even in the evening. I know I'm not saying, but the guilt will kill you. Ooh. Ooh. Brass instrumental break. So it was Just Friends, and I really liked the song groovy wise. It was just, it's a really good time, and I really liked the low-key vibes that she was giving in the delivery. Yeah, I really was just like, yeah, when will we get the time to be just friends? I learned that it is about the main relationship of the album in question. I don't think Nas is relevant, except for maybe the Me and Mr. Jones song. She had a partner who also was dealing with substance issues as well, but apparently he's trying to just be friends with her, and I think they've previously been in a relationship before at this point in this song. And she's like, "When are we going to have the time for that? Because you should be focusing on your time with your wife. I drink in the evening, so I won't have my ability to give my platonic self to you. I can only give my non-platonic self. And in the mornings, he is doing his substances, and so that's not good for him to see her during that time." So I related the song not in the substance thing, because I don't really have a bad relationship to any substances to my knowledge. And I really thought about this in the growing up and when do we actually have the time to be just friends. With my actual platonic friends I've never had relationships with, I think it is hard scheduling wise, and I'm relating to that a lot because a lot of my friends are working and I'm still looking for what's next. So sometimes there's not a lot of opportunity because some people are busy and doing things. But then also in my relationship sense, not in the cutting it off and making it only platonic, but I feel like there's certain times in my past relationships where I've had to figure out how to have these big discussions or have the time to chill, and I can't pick both, and I only have such a limited amount of time to spend with the person. Does that make sense? Sometimes you don't want to broach a topic because you don't want every time you see the person for it to be a mood killer, but you also want times where it doesn't feel like it's serious at the same time. It's both. It's a catch-22. You can either make it serious or make it silly, and you can't do both often unless you have a ton of time to spend with them. And with our ever busier lives, when do we have the time to just be friends? The song spoke to me in a way that I feel like these other songs haven't been relating to me. I have not as much in common with Amy Winehouse as I might with some other artists that I listen to more. But I think Just Friends, I felt that connection. I really heard her and it resonated with me. Track number 5 is a Back to Black, the album title. I have this one saved as well, and that's the only other one I have saved besides me and Mr. Jones before reacting. But I don't remember at all what the song sounds like, so I'm excited to hear it again. I love a good jazzy moment. I didn't know. She said that. I go back to black. You go back to her and I go back to black. No, I go back to us. Ooh. Ooh. That spacing always gets me. I certainly don't remember this breakdown. So I was back to black, and I don't remember this song very well at all. So I'm glad it's back in my life because now I can go back to black. That said, the song is really sad because it's about her ex-man leaving her and going to his old ex-girlfriend. That opening line, she's good with some opening lines. I see her. She has some good opening lines. And her saying kept his wet with the same old bet. Yeah, because he's going back to his ex. And she's not going back to any ex, so she is going back into black, which I think is a reference to her drinking. I think it's also a reference to depression. A lot of different vibes that one could take, all not so fun. This one wasn't mentioned when I looked up lyrics, but I also think the going back to black could kind of like be going back to square one, where it's like you have nothing on the black screen. There's absolutely nothing. So you don't have anything to turn to. You are going to start entirely from scratch. That's what she had to do, and it wasn't ultimately something that worked well for her. The song is catchy. That breakdown where it's just black over and over is so different and definitely not something I remember at all. And I found out that Mark Ronson produced this song, which is random. I didn't know he was active this early in this time. I didn't realize he was active in the aughts, but he was. And he had done this song and some other songs on the album. I don't know which ones they are, but this one in particular he did. This one has over 1 billion streams on Spotify. Dang, this song is popular. Yeah, this song is sad. It's not as tragic and ironic as a Rehab is. And the production on this and her delivery is beautiful. And I think it is relatable of when you break up, things don't necessarily break up evenly. The dumper could have more power, or just there might be some things that change that really only affect one party and not both parties. So I can see here in Back to Black, she's saying that he's getting most of the good and she's not really getting much of it. So he's having a much easier time in theory than her. It definitely pays a price. Number 6 is Love is a Losing Game. Yikes. Okay, that was a switch up. So that was Love is a Losing Game, and that was a nice groovy track. I definitely could see this playing in like a speakeasy, like someone to sing it, and it's just a chill vibe. I like that it was short and sweet, like the Sabrina Carpenter album, because yeah, it felt good, but it is repetitive. It does have these repetitive things. I think they were called quatrains or something. I don't know, but this song is groovy and definitely speaks to the message of the album of her feeling down in the dumps about heartbreak and getting a bit nihilistic about it here. And yeah, I think this song is for when you go through a breakup or you're thinking about past loves and your past pursuits of love. You're like, well, it's really just a losing game. I'm not, the likelihood of me finding success is limited. So when you're in that mood, that's perfect for you. But I tend to not be in that mood often, but I do find it as a groovy song that could just be playing in the background while you're doing some chill task. I don't know. It feels like a chill vibe that if it comes on, it's not offensive anyway. It's not strong. It doesn't reference some substance issues. It's less potentially triggering to some people over some other songs on this record. So I can see people enjoying this one. As I get through this album a bit more and more, I am definitely noticing some parallels between her and Adele. I mean, yes, they're both British. Yes, they tend to go for a more slow song vibe, but I think she was definitely inspired, and especially thinking of, what is that, my favorite song from 30? It might be Love Is a Game, the finishing track on 30. She is Love Is a Game for fools to try, and I'm fooling. What a cruel thing to self-inflict this pain. And I think the song has the same vibe, is that she's still battling blind. Love is a fate resigned. She is still continuing to do this game that is not necessarily the best thing for her to be doing. And so she's not discounting love. She's not saying, oh, I hate love, I will never pursue it. She is saying, love is not something I'm going to be that successful at, but I am going to still try. Overall, a groovy vibe. I would listen to it, but it's not going to be one of the ones I instantly gravitate towards. It's also not going to be ones that stand out to me as much as some of the other tracks I've heard so far. Track number 7, Tears Dry on Their Own. Ooh. It always just comes in so quickly. Does this sample Ain't No Mountain High Enough? I like her flow on it. There's so many bigger things at hand. Amen. I'll be some next man's other woman soon. Oh. What? Ooh, sing it, girl. So those Tears Dry on Their Own. I had a good time with that one. I felt empowered by that, even though I don't know if it's supposed to be. This is about a relationship ending. They're now history. They take the day from her, on her mind, consuming their thoughts, and that heartbreak is definitely consuming her at that time. But she knows that that day will pass, her tears will dry on their own, and that she will be grown and move past it. I was really right about the Ain't No Mountain High Enough sample. I can clock samples really well now. That is how you do a sample, is that I might be able to tell. Not everyone should be able to immediately clock it, and it's not like the song only relies on that sample. That is not why you're listening to the song. You're listening to it for Amy Winehouse singing My Tears Dry on Their Own. Yeah, I really enjoy the song. I know she's wallowing in heartbreak here, but it does have an uplifting, empowering message, and I think, especially given her circumstances, the idea of finding hope in this record is really touching and really helpful for me to deal with all of the other emotions that she's dealing with aside from that hope. Track number 8 is A Wake Up Alone. Are we in waltz or 6/8 territory? Ooh, long intro. We don't normally get that from her. I'm staying busy in the day. At least I'm not drinking. Good for you, girl. As soon as the sun sets. Oh, because he took the day? Ooh, I like how she pauses after that. Ooh, this repetition. It's making you really feel it. So that was Wake Up Alone, and that is a sad follow-up to Tears Dry on Their Own. I liked the uplifting message, but yeah, it seems that once he's taken the day, she is not doing so well at night, and then she wakes up alone. Even when you're having your powerful self-love moments, you are going to fall flat. I see on Genius that they're talking about 2 different potential interpretations of this song. One of it being about a man that, you know, he's literally in her dreams, but someone else also mentioned that it's about alcohol, and the fact that there is so many liquid references and words associated with liquid, like moon spilling in, swimming, other ones that I can't bring to my head right now, but there's a lot of these liquid metaphors that it could also be about her relationship with alcohol, is that if you keep yourself busy, then you don't have the time to drink, but then at night, you know, there's not always as much to do. I definitely feel for her about relationship-wise or substance-wise. One I resonate a little bit more with, but that doesn't mean it's not a powerful song. It is a powerful song, and I'm glad it made the record. Apparently it was from a certain series of sessions where this is the only song that actually made the record. So I'm glad I get to hear it. And I think it does have a nice continuation from Tears Dry on their own to Wake Up Alone, even though the result of it is not necessarily so nice. Track number 9 is Some Unholy War. I would be behind him. Oh, support. I can't really understand what she's saying in this song, but I'm grooving. She said fighting. I thought she said 5'10". That's her accent. So it was Some Unholy War, and Amy herself said she didn't know what the song was fully about, but it seems that it's basically about that she would do anything that her man needs her to do. Anything that her man does, she will follow. She'll follow his lead. And yeah, it's about this big commitment, full loyalty, maybe blind loyalty, one would say, towards her man. This song is not for me to listen to. I don't have any people in my life that I am that ride or die for. I guess the term ride or die really means that you will go to the ends of the earth with that person. I'm sorry, my friends, to my family. I am not that person. I have not had that deep of a commitment in that way. And that's not saying I won't in the future, but that's saying that for now I've not experienced that. And any times where I experience such a deep loyalty to a friend in particular, a lot of that has resulted in what I would consider betrayal. And so I don't normally look for that in a relationship or in a friendship per se. I look for how can we support each other during these times, and I hope that you stay in my life for a long time. But I don't expect you to fall on the sword for me. And so this song is not the most relatable to me. I'll also say this is not necessarily the song I gravitate most to sonically either. It's not bad in any sense, but I think there's just stronger contenders on this project. Track number 10 is He Can Only Hold Her. Oh, woke me up. Okay, ad-lib, girl. Oh, only for so long. Oh, we're gonna do a natural fade out outro? That is not really what this album's been doing. So that was He Can Only Hold Her, and this is, I guess, written in the third person because she is saying that she is not really prioritizing this relationship that she's in because she's still longing for her ex. He wants to be everything to her, but he knows that an older he is everything to her and will continue to be that way. So yeah, that's a tough vibe. It reminds me a bit of Ghostin' from Thank You Next. The idea of being so hung up on someone who's not in your relationship while exploring a new relationship. Please figure out how you are content and past your old relationships before diving into something new. Your new person does not need to handle that. They do not need to do that. I know I personally have dealt with people who said they were interested in me, and then it turns out later, oh shoot, I'm still really just hung up on my ex. They really messed with me. And mad respect for figuring that out before things got any deeper, but yeah, maybe you shouldn't be exploring your options if you need to figure out how to get over it. And I understand getting over someone by getting under someone. I'm aware of the philosophy, and I will say that sometimes does work. However, for doing a long committed thing, maybe consider being open, transparent about that, not thinking, hey, this new person that I just met a couple days after breaking up with someone, maybe that might not be the best thing to pursue and to give to someone. Maybe that's not the baggage I want to bring to the new home of my love life. So yeah, it's a bit of a messy song, but I do like the grooviness of it. I think I could still listen to the song sonically, even if lyrically I'm like, girl, please do better. Track number 11 and last track on this album, Addicted. Oh, what is going on here? Yeah, I like how it gets swingy. Oh, odd way to end. So that was Addicted. This is so funny. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is tragically funny. But the song itself is humorous. It is meant to be done comedically, I think. She's telling her best friend's boyfriend to stop stealing her pot. Like, that's hilarious. That is literally 50 million streams on that song. Album is the 13th highest selling album, I think, ever in the UK. And the final track on it is about her telling her best friend's boyfriend to stop stealing her pot. That is hilarious. Yeah, I get mine and you get yours. We get our shares. We do not mix because you keep taking too much. You taking too much. And I know you got your relationship. I don't have that relationship. We are using that green for other reasons. You get it? I do find the song hilarious. It's got me addicted more than any did. That's a really clever wordplay. Love that. I found out this song is only on the British version. It is not on the US version. And it was replaced with a remix of You Know I'm No Good, featuring a rap verse from Ghostface Killer from Wu-Tang Clan. Okay, random? Oh, 2006. What a time to be here. What a time to be 7. And yeah, obviously in America, we did not have pot legalized, I think, anywhere at that point. So I get why it was not a song that was going to do well necessarily, but I think it's still funny. Okay, it's hilarious. It is a funny song, minus the part of her being addicted to it, because we know addiction is not good for her long term. That said, we have finished this record, and this album, first of all, very sonically cohesive. I love a good sonically cohesive album, and we don't always get that from a lot of artists. And I think I really appreciate that for this, that she really came in and she made an album. The album is tied very much together sonically and lyrically. It feels very personal. It feels very confessional. It feels like she's having these mood fluctuations and that we are along for the ride. And she is being very vulnerable with us, but she also is making these songs catchy or groovy. There is a lot of thought being put into this music. And as I was reading, I noticed that she would have a lot of these songs kind of effortlessly spring out of thin air, and that she would write these things down in 30 minutes, an hour. The tracks would not take too long. Obviously, many get scrapped along the way, but of course, many of the ones that we have seen the light of day were written very quickly. So she definitely had a lot of inspiration and a lot of creative talent and a lot of just aha moments that really come from a creative genius. And so it's really sad that she has been gone too soon. And yeah, it is like that. There's no other way to put that. I do always feel a bit awkward reacting to albums from artists that are no longer with us. And I think especially this is the case here because what she is singing about is directly related to how she perished. It is not like Sophie, for example, another artist that I reacted to posthumously, had a tragic literal fall, which is not directly tied to what her music is about. Whereas Amy passing away from an overdose is directly relevant to the music here. And I think this brings up an interesting discussion about separating the art from the artist that I think is going to challenge me in listening to this album. When you think about separating the art from the artist, I just watched the Not Even Emily video about it. Really love watching her, and that video was really entertaining. But she talked about how blindly standing artists, even when their music is not good, not separating that art from the artist, or when an artist is a really bad person, but you really like the creative work that they put out. Amy is not necessarily either of those things. She is just singing about stuff that is very personal to her and also has related to how she has passed on. I think that it makes it difficult because it's really hard to celebrate work that could glamorize not going to rehab, for example, or to glamorize her cheating, or to drink or do substances that ultimately are self-harming and hurt her in the end. While I don't know of anyone else who has been inspired by Amy Winehouse to take up substances, I don't really know. And yeah, there's a lot of people in the world. It's definitely possible that that has happened. And so I'm, again, not glamorizing any of the substance use that she is mentioning. And if you are feeling connected or too overly tied to something, please seek help. Again, I will have that hotline down in the description box. So it is hard for me to listen to some of these songs and just know the pain that she's gone through and the behaviors that led her to how her life ended. However, as I've said before, these songs are very well done, and I think I would love to continue celebrating her life after she has passed and the art that she has made during that life. Yeah, there's a lot of songs that I can see myself turning to and potentially taking on a new meaning. While it might seem like a lot of these things are about her specific relationships or her relationships with substances, those are probably the two major themes here. I could take it into my own relationships or just other things, and I can find ways to make music resonate with me in ways that might not have been how they were intended to be. I do think that she was a groundbreaking artist, bringing these 50s and 60s and jazzy sounds into the mainstream at a time where we were getting to recession pop and we were getting a lot of dance and pop and stuff like that. Not necessarily the songs are upbeat or danceable, but that the music is powerful and the vocals carry that, but also a lot of the production's done in a way that moves you, but not necessarily in a dancing way, just in a way that moves you. And yeah, I feel moved. With that said, here are some of my favorites of the top tier of the songs that are standouts. The ones I'm going to be playing over and over, my personal favorites. Songs in the middle are songs I like, all of them to my playlist, but they might not be the top of the top. Songs at the bottom are just not really my thing. Doesn't mean they're a bad song, doesn't mean that you can't like it. It just means it's not for me, and that's okay. Amy Winehouse made this album when I was 7, so we're going to have different feelings about it. Obviously, this music still holds up today, but we might have different feelings about it, and I didn't live the same life that Amy Winehouse did. If you like this video, please like it, comment down below so we can react to it next on my channel. Just subscribe to my channel if you're not already and you'd like to be. And thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later.
Get out of the dark and